Welcome to the Jamodi podcast. We are all surrounded by amazing coaches and leaders. So let's get an inside look at not just what they do, but how they do what they do. After all, becoming the best versions of ourselves is Jamodi, just a matter of doing it. You've had an amazing career already. So 22 years overall?
Oh, geez, Louise, Matt. 27, I think.
27, okay.
Yeah, it's been a while. I'm not a math guy, so you're really testing me now.
You're a musician. You're not yeah. But so okay, 27 years overall, and different levels of play, and also different coaching positions from assistants to head coaches, all those things. If you could go back in time, what's something or a few things that you would do differently?
Yeah, I reflect back on that first head coaching job that I had. I was maybe 25 years old. Thought I knew it all. Man, I was going to set the world on fire. I was going to win, championship after championship. It just, I think, if I could go back and do it again, the number one thing I would do is really understand that I don't know it all. And I worked for Coach Eastman for 5 years before I was the head coach at Moscow High School. And he never said that phrase that he's so famous for now of be a learn-it-all, not a know-it-all. He never said that before I got that head coaching job at Moscow. And I wish he had come up with that phrase during those 5 years I was with him at Washington State. Because when I figured that out, Matt, like that was when it just like my world opened up, and it really became a lot of fun to play chess instead of checkers. Like it was it was like, all right, I don't have all the answers. Let's try and find them and see what works best with what the way basketball looks to me or should look to me. And let's find the answers that, again, I coached big men pretty much my whole entire career. Let's find the answers for guard skill development so I can get better at that. And, just little things like that. So I wish that going back, I really would have been a learn-it-all instead of a know-it-all. And honestly, I think I probably would have stayed at Moscow High School longer than a year if I had done that. Yeah. And
how come? Why do you feel that way?
I think at the end of the year, I was only there for 1 year. It was 99, 2000. And I struggled with parents. Number one, I was really young and I didn't know how to deal with parents. But I think we would have been more successful because I would have adjusted my style of play to our personnel. And that's, I was trying to fit a square peg in a round hole with, again, this is my idea of basketball and this is how it's supposed to be played. Well, I didn't have those players. And I really, looking back, I was really stubborn. I was headstrong, and I was like, yeah, this is the way it's supposed to be. And, if I had that squad again, I would do things drastically different. I would play completely different style of basketball.
It's so hard. Like it's almost a frustrating thing because I get to ask that question a ton, and almost all the answers are similar to yours. Is I wish I would have known or been okay with not knowing everything. And it's just like, what is it about? Because I was the exact same. I feel really bad. I don't know if I've ever told Clarkson this, but Jeff Clarkson gave me a chance.
Great guy.
He was at Naaman Forest, and Coach Thomas told him, hey, he needed to hire me. So I volunteered as a varsity assistant at Naaman Forest. I was teaching out in the portables first year in any type of like really organized coaching. But man, I found myself feeling like I could do things. I would do things different. I would do things better. And there's the arrogance, of a 25-year-old me. And now, I realized how much I don't know, and I failed a ton of trying to do what you talked about of having, I'm a pressing, run and gunning guy no matter what. and then having a friend of mine watch us play and say, you just don't really have the horses to do that. and my ego, like, man, oh, that hurt. But yeah, I love to go back and I apologize to Jeff, but then why can't we, as younger people, why?
Well, I think it benefits you and I now. I mean, ultimately, like, again, everything happens for a reason, right? And you got to go through those struggles. And I know where you're coming from. Like, I feel bad for the Darnell Williams of the world and who played for me at Moscow High School. He was a hell of a ball player. And, we weren't bad. We could have been better. I mean, we were 14-10 that year. And, we probably could have been anywhere from 16-8 to even 18-6 in the state tournament. And I get it. I feel bad for Darnell because that ultimately was on me. However, again, it's paying off now because now I'm going, all right, I got to make sure that I recruit the right guys to put in place to play the style of basketball I want to play.
Yeah, just like with our players shooting, Coach, when am I going to see improvement? Well, it takes what it takes. Same with coaching. When am I going to figure things out? Well, it takes what it takes. You got to make some mistakes and fail. What's inspiring to me, though, is guys like you, guys like Brackle, the guys have been doing it for 25 plus years. They're still growing and still have the growth mindset. Instead of a fixed mindset. So golly, 15 years into it for me, I better not start thinking now that I got it all figured out.
Hey, once you do, you're done. I mean, that's it. When you feel like you've arrived, like, that's it. Coach Eastman shared a Michael Jordan quote about that, something about, when you feel like you arrived, you have, and you're pretty much done. Like I don't know what the specific quote was, but it was something similar to that.
Great point, though. Yeah, because you'll stop yourself from, that talk with Darren. One thing that he did say is he if he could go back and later on his career, it would be have some of those championship habits that a LeBron has. Spending $1.5 million on his body every year, do some of those things. And he even said with his individual skill, like he wasn't still doing some of the things that it took to get there. So like. Again, and I think I've heard this quote a few times, like, make the big time where you are.
Frosty Westering.
Nice. So for me at Faith, for you and a guy like George Barber out of Greenville, that make the big time where you are. But that means, like, if I'm not doing practice plans the same way that I was when maybe I was hungry or new, like you gotta put those, you gotta check those things.
Yeah, no question. You talk about practice planning. Absolutely. Like I'm practice planning now the same way I did, or, as an assistant coach at Eastern Washington University. Like, they're Division I, big deal. Like, we're Division III, so be it. I mean, it's still important to me. It's still got to be important to those kids. And I've got to be on top of it because, as you well know, like, your players are great BS detectors, right? I mean, they know when you're full of it, and they're meter pegs if you're not prepared.
And that's where, too, like, you mentioned early on our talk about being honest and authentic, letting them know when you don't know all the answers, but you better be giving your very, very best. And they need to know that it's important to you, or else if they don't think it is, and you also don't know everything, you're also in that boat, then golly, problems start piling up at that point.
Yeah, no doubt. I think of preparing to play opponents as well. Like, it's you got to be on it. And I don't want to watch a million videos on our opponents, but I want to watch their last 3 games and at least have a feel for what they're doing, so that I can go in and say, all right, guys, here's what to expect. And again, if something comes up that I didn't see, or if they put in something new, like, I'm happy to say, guys, look, I mean, I didn't see that coming. Now we got to adjust, and we got to be able to adjust on the fly. But yeah, I'm on board with you, Matt.
Thank you for checking out today's episode. Please take a moment to subscribe to this podcast, share it with your fellow coaches, and find us on social media for what's coming up next on the Jamodi podcast. It's just a matter of doing it.